What is going on, fellow fans of Clash of Clans? It is your host, Galadon, and today a follow-up video to yesterday's critically acclaimed, somewhat controversial episode talking about 5 things that players do or did that have broken the spirit of Clash of Clans. And I wanted to specifically address one of these. If you guys missed yesterday's video, make sure you go check it out. The link is in the description. And so it garnered somewhat of a polarized response. Now, we talked about engineering, we talked about town hall sniping, talked about a lot of things that don't exist in the game anymore. But at the same time, we also brought up FWA. And FWA, here's the thing. I agree with the comments that say it doesn't harm anybody. And I also agree with the comments that it's completely fair play. There's nothing wrong about FWA. However, it's possible that Supercell probably doesn't really want FWA talked about because, and this is the thing that I talked about in yesterday's video, you cannot argue against the fact that the things in that video were pretty much things that the Supercell team did not either A, anticipate, or B, want players to be doing for whatever reason. Clan War is designed to be this competition where you're trying to beat the opposing clan, and for Supercell to see a bunch of players who go, nah, we're not going to compete, we just want to get as much loot as we can. And it's completely legal to do that, but again, the Clash of Clans team did not design Clan Wars simply for players to maximize their loot. Of course, they could prevent this from happening through a lot of different ways. It is difficult to do it, but the FWA Alliance has gotten really good at this. They've got web pages, they have massive rules. I will show some of them on the screen. Again, you guys, I'm not against this. If I were against this, I wouldn't be here making it more public, letting other people know about it. Okay, it exists in the game. It's not an exploit. It's not a violation of the terms of service. And honestly, like some people said on Twitter, I think it shows how ingenious people can be. Because if you've got a specific goal and you trying to work around the conventions of a game or rules and achieve that goal, then this is great. This is a testament to people's imagination and creativity, okay? So in that regard, I think it's great. And again, I don't think that FWA is a 4-letter word. I do not. I think it's completely legal and it doesn't really harm other clans. Obviously, FWA clans work to match each other, but if they accidentally, for some reason, match a serious hardcore war clan that is focused on their record, then great. The war clan's probably going to get a win, and the FWA clan faces whatever they do. I'm sure they do their best just to maximize loot, but it won't be the free, almost effortless loot. Now, I probably shouldn't say effortless, because if you've looked at the list of rules that these guys have, I mean, it's elaborate. They go down to the exact base design and the layouts and when you're going to roll and all these penalties for doing things and which clan is going to win and that sort of thing. There's this really detailed set of instructions. You can check out the 2 websites that I've put on the screen and see what we're talking about. And hey, maybe you want to become part of the FWA? That's totally fine. I obviously am putting it up here just because I wanted to talk about it. And again, it was only one of the 5 things that I spoke of in yesterday's video, but it definitely garnered the biggest response, the most emotional response. And, the other thing is, for whatever reason people are doing it. I got some reasoning from people that said, hey, we're doing it because Supercell has screwed farmers and made it harder for us to get loot. And that brought me a reminder of something that happened in the past, and I'll show that on the screen in just a second. Or they just say, hey, we just want to get more loot. We want to level up faster. We want to push, upgrade our troops, our defenses, whatever. And this is a better way to do it than just regular clan war. And that's not really our thing. Then it's great. Again, it's not hurting anybody. It doesn't take away from other players' experience of the game. And so in that regard, I think it's totally fine. Now, what I was reminded of by these people saying they were bitter about farming being harder is this right here on the screen. This was right around the time of 2015. I'm not sure if this is an actual image of a customer service response, a player support response within the game. It circulated back then. And yes, so believe it or not, it does say, hey, Chief, we removed farming from the game. And honestly, I think this speaks more to the lack of good training for player support that Supercell has. I mean, obviously, if you've got a game that's got tens of millions of people playing it every single day, there's going to be a lot of support questions and they need a huge player support setup. And if you guys know, Supercell has about 200 employees, that there's no possible way that they could in-house player support. So player support is farmed somewhere else, presumably another country other than the United States and other than Finland. Based upon the language, the syntax, the grammar used by player support, I don't think they have the best grasp on the English language sometimes. And for me, that's a little embarrassing to Supercell that they've got such a well-made game. They're so detail-oriented in everything they do, and then their player support is just not up to par. Now, of course, it could be because of the fact that if you ran player support for a game that's got, I don't know, what did they say? They said across all games they were at 100 million daily active users about a year ago. So even, let's just be conservative and say that there's 20 million daily active users that play Clash of Clans. If 1/100th of 1% sends a player support message, that's 1/100th of 1% of 20 million. That's still 20-something people. 20 million, 10%, 2 million, 200,000 is 1%. A tenth of 1% would be 20,000. That'd be 2,000. So 2,000, 1/100th of 1% of 20 million players. See, I did the math there. 2,000 player support messages a day. So they need a pretty well-sized group of people. So I'm not making excuses. Personally, I think that they should train their player support better. The fact that this message got out at all. Yes, Chief, we removed farming from the game. Are you kidding me? Oh man, I'm glad that one kind of blew over because that was huge. And it was also a misunderstanding. I think that the player support guy was trying to say they removed Town Hall sniping from the game. If you read the whole message, that's kind of what I took from it. And, you know, that was another thing that was not intended when the developers created Clash of Clans. They didn't think, oh, people will take the most important building in their whole village and put it on the outside of the base and let anybody crush it that wants to. And it also doesn't work if you think about it in reality. Would this ever be how a village would protect itself and back in mythological times or whatever universe Clash of Clans is set in? No, you're going to try to protect the town hall. I mean, remember, all the little villagers, they run to it. They run to the little town hall and run inside. So you would think that would be in the center. You know, think about old movies and stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, so that, you know, town hall sniping is gone. Engineering, you saw that Supercell took steps to remove engineering from the game. Well, not remove it. I definitely wouldn't say remove it, but make it slightly harder to do by requiring you to build all of the structures before you move to the next town hall. Of course, if they wanted to completely remove engineering, then you just require that everything is maxed out before the next town hall, and they didn't do that. So, you know, engineers have to be happy about that. Of course, then what would they do? Like, how would they retroactively affect all these engineered accounts that still exist? And there's no doubt thousands, if not tens of thousands of them that are still there. Queen Walk. Again, I don't think there was much of a reaction to this either way because the Queen Walk isn't controversial. It's just, again, it's ingenious. It's great that players thought of this because the devs didn't even think of it. You know, I've talked to the Clash of Clans team, and they were like, man, we've got some geniuses out there. We never imagined that this would be an actual strategy, that players would queen walk. They'd put 3-4 healers down and keep the queen alive and have her walk around. They thought that was so cool. But at the same time, there was a period where queen walk was too strong. Now, I don't even think queen walk was really around when the big hero nerf took place in July of 2014. It was after that we saw queen walk become a thing, and then there were repeated nerfs to healers. But again, like I've talked about, Supercell could have eradicated queen walk. Instead, they chose just to turn it down, and that's kind of what they've done with everything. FWA clans, you never know if Supercell will take steps to slow down their progress, but I don't think they will. I don't think they need to, because again, they're not hurting anybody else. They may be going around the unwritten rules of clan wars, but they're not taking away from anybody's experience. So that's really what I wanted to talk about in today's episode, was just speak to this. And hey, you know what this has ended up being? An advertisement for FWA clans. So if you're interested, there you've got the web pages. You can go check it out and become part of the Farm War Alliance. Again, I don't have anything against it. I think that it's a fine way to play if that's how you choose to play. But at the same time, I think clan wars can be a lot of fun, and clan war leagues are going to be even more fun. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure you stay subscribed and turn on notifications, because before you know it, the next Clash of Clans update will be upon us. It's coming in October, and it is going to be massive. It is going to be exciting, and I know you guys want the earliest possible update and sneak peek information. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of the hashtag Galafan, for staying all the way to the end of this video. Now get out there, have a fantastic rest of your day, be kind to other people, be kind to animals. I'll see you back here again tomorrow for more Full Attacks.
Galadon, I'll farm your war.
Peter, that doesn't even make any sense.